What is the impact for those of us here in Nebraska?
So, in terms of the direct effects of the shutdown, Nebraska is home to about 10,400 civilian federal employees. And the Omaha World Herald just reported that 2,400 federal workers have been furloughed on Offutt Air
Oh,
Force Base.
sure.
And just as a point of comparison, when we work on state policy, we think a lot about the time when ConAgra left the state.
Yeah.
We lost 1,500 jobs. At this point right now, just on Offutt Air Force Base,
Wow.
we're looking at 2,400 federal workers being affected
Huh.
by this shutdown. About a quarter of Nebraska's state budget comes through federal funding. That kind of puts us on average for how much funding we receive as a state to do the work of the state from the federal government. One of the programs that is in question now with the federal government is SNAP, also known as food stamps. About 150,000 Nebraskans, or about 1 in 8 Nebraskans, participate in the SNAP food program. So that is providing them with food security on a month to
Yep.
month basis. Right now, we know that SNAP benefits are expected to be delivered for the month of October without issue, but there's real questions about whether or not the SNAP program will be able to continue to deliver benefits in November, depending on how long the shutdown goes along. The potential of withholding pay for federal workers or letting go of federal workers, the pressure on healthcare, insurance premiums, all of that just makes it really harder for Nebraskans to be able to pay for essential goods and services. For example, groceries, just to know where your paycheck is coming from on a month to month basis. Our neighbors here shouldn't have to choose between putting food on the table and having access to decent healthcare. But the
Yeah.
conditions of the shutdown are likely to create that kind of tension for everyday Nebraskans.
Well, and that's not to mention, I mean, we are seeing the economic impact of tariffs, for example, here in Nebraska. I
Mhm.
mean, farmers are starting to really worry about this crop that's coming in because we don't have any markets. And a lot of ag leaders are comparing today's situation with the terrible 80s crisis in the agriculture. And so there's enough pressure on our economy already, even without this.
Shutdowns have been found to lead to a decline in gross domestic product. So we can expect there will be an effect on our economy from this shutdown. That is the case in previous shutdowns. Our economic projections for quarter 4 for the American economy are coming in well below expectations. And that's just because of some of the economic uncertainty we've already
Yep.
experienced this year. So
Yes.
we can expect, I guess, further potentially significant economic uncertainty from the shutdown, particularly the longer it goes along.